no. I know it's tempting, and I know it's easy, and you want to, but don't. Folks, this fried pie that we're making today with that good homemade crust will keep you from going to the store ever again to get a fried pie. Fried pies. I mean, to me, there was nothing better than coming in the kitchen on a day after you'd been horseback, and what was sitting there just waiting for you to have them? Fried pies. Sure, it's a lot about the filling, but to me, it is about the pie crust. And I'm gonna give you some tips right off the bat that I think you've got to do. Number one, put that butter in the freezer and get it cold. Get that lard out, put it in the icebox and get it cold. Cold is your friend when you're making pie crust. Are you feeling bland when eating your fried pies? Are you tired of no color in your life? Have no fear, because ARIAT has you covered with a variety of his and her Western attire. You'll find something to add to your collection. Their outerwear is perfect for cold weather, and it will even make your fried pies taste better. A big thank you to the folks at ARIAT for sponsoring this video. Be sure and check the link out down there below so you can get some of my favorites. Now, I know a lot of you paused the computer when we was talking about pie crust and you went to the store and picked up a Pillsbury with got the little fat white guy on there.
I mean, I would do it.
No. This is an easy pie crust. You can put any kind of filling into a fried pie. But it's about that crust, and that's what we're after. So we started with 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. We're gonna have us a little cinnamon in there, some baking powder, because we gotta have that. Bacon, B-A-C-O-I-N-G, bacon powder. I've had a lot of comments, people say, oh, boy, I wish they made some kind of bacon powder, but really it's got one of them K's in it, so it's okay. A little bit of salt. That is all the dry ingredients that's gonna go there. I need you just to mix it up a little, and I wanna show y'all that I am still in the Christmas spirit today. Look here. I done found a spatula, had a Christmas tree on it. Oh my gosh, it is so nice. And then right here, remember I was telling you about, had that lard in there in the icebox, chilling. About 3/4 of a cup. About 6 tablespoons of butter. So we're gonna count them right here. You could cut that butter, you know, and just slice it down in there. But I found out really long time back, the best thing that you can do to get butter in a pie crust is to grate it in there. It's so much easier for it to incorporate. Cold is your friend when you're making pie crust. It's gonna make the pie crust flakier. It's gonna make it better. Now, when I was young, for punishment and to kill time for me, this is what they would give me to cut all that in with in a pie crust to a cracker crumb consistency. And then one day I seen one of these in the drawer and I seen Mom and Grandma using it. I graduated from the fork to this.
When you were in trouble, did they use your full name?
Yes, they would.
And what was your full name? This is maybe, I bet a lot of people don't know this.
When my mother would come out that door of that house, and if you was in trouble, you know, a lot of times she'd say, Kent, come on now, it's time to eat. But if you was in trouble, Rodney Kent Rollins, get your butt in this house. When your mama uses all 3 of your names, you know you're in trouble. So with this pastry cutter, we're just gonna cut all this into that flour with that lard and that butter till we get us a cracker crumb consistency. When you get to that point, I like to take my hands in here and just give it a light rubbing together here, just to make sure that there ain't no great big clumps in there. Now you can see that is what we're after right there. Good cracker crumb consistency everywhere. We're gonna make us a little whale right there in the middle. Don't scrimp on bad apple cider vinegar. That didn't make sense. Get that right here. What's it say right here? Raw and unfiltered.
Does it really have to be like the fancy apple cider vinegar?
I think it makes the best pie crust ever. We're going to use 1/4 cup. Apple cider vinegar or vodka will give you a good flaky pie crust. And if you get in the vodka a little too much while you're making the pie crust and you forget what you're doing and maybe you make beef Wellington in the end, it'll still be all right. Look here. Hear that? Ice water. So we're going to use 1/4 cup of cold water. I like to try to err on the side of being too wet because we can always dry it out. But if we start out too dry, it's really hard to get this back where I want it. Find your spatula, and I'm gonna break out the big one this time, and we're just gonna go to folding that around till we can get some of that flour and water and vinegar to take a hold, and then we're gonna get our hands in it. keep working this till you get you a good soft dough ball formed. And then I just like to get it squeezed up really tight. Best thing you can do right now is what? Remember, cold is your friend. Put this in a plastic bag, put it in the fridge. It needs to set at least 45 minutes, but I prefer 2 hours. So get up early and make this. So let me get it in the icebox. We'll go on to the apples. Let's talk about the filling today. Remember what it was going to be? Apples, yes. But don't just use one kind of apple. Get 2 kinds of apple. There's different flavors, different crispiness. What are we starting with? Anybody know what this green apple is called? Anybody? Big? You know? Sadie, do you know what this is called? No? Duker? Duker said it is a Granny Smith apple. He is so smart. What is the next player in the field, Duker? You're so smart. What is this one? Yes, that is right. It is a Fuji. Any sweet apple, but I like to pair it with sort of this Granny Smith because it's got a little tart to it. We're going to go through here, peel all these apples, core them up, slice them, then we're going to start back to work on them. When I was on a ranch and I'd be stewing apples or something like that, I'd save all of these. I would go ahead and cut them up, cook them just like I would a regular apple. A little sugar, a little brown sugar, butter. Poor man's apple pie. But I have also floured these, battered them, deep fried them, you know, and that's just as an appetizer. So everything's got a purpose here. Whole stick of butter in that little pot there over the fire. And I just want to tell you, you want to slice some apples pretty thin so they'll cook down a little quicker. So let's get our apples in that butter because that makes everything better. Half a cup of white sugar, half a cup of brown sugar. Let me get him in there. Get them apples to cooking. To me, I used to stew a lot of apples like this on a ranch. Just make a big old pot of stewed apples for them cowboys. And I always paired it with brownies. I'm going to stir these quite regular, I am, because sugar burns pretty easy. Got it over medium heat. Just keep stirring. We're going to cook this for probably about 5 minutes. We just want them apples to get tender. I'm going to mix me some flour and some cornstarch. It's about a half a cup of flour, tablespoon of cornstarch, and we're going to add this gradually. We are. Give it a little stir. I just want this to thicken up to where it will stay in that fried pie when we put it on there. Look at that good consistency. Oh my gosh. That right there, let's just forget the pie crust and go ahead and let this cool a minute. We just eat it all right there. Just let it cook and simmer for about probably 2 to 3 minutes. After that, things will begin to thicken up. Turn your heat down to a medium low because you don't want to scorch nothing. We've been about an hour we have. Let's get that pie dough back out here and go to putting these together. Chill. So nice it is. And folks, this recipe makes a 9-inch top and bottom pie crust. And this can freeze. I'll guarantee you, you can let it set out there and let it warm up, be ready to go. Let's flour our surface. And you're gonna need something to cut these pie dough fried pies out with. I like to use a top off a Crisco can, about as good as any, but today we're going to use a top off this flour canister. It's 6 inches across it is.
Why don't you split that in half? You're not going to have enough room on your board.
Okay. Shan is always ahead of the game, folks, yep. I'm telling you. So we're going to put that in back over here. We're going to get this one. Ooh, Mage, that dough feels good. It is cold. Are you a pie dough? Do you know something about pie dough? Flour up your husband beater. And let's go to rolling. We used a lot of sourdough on ranches, and sourdough makes a great pie crust, it does. Now, I'm gonna leave this up to y'all right here. What is the thickness that you want on your pie crust? Because remember, it's gonna be folded over. So just get it over here quite to the edge as you can. Just give it a little twist there. You're gonna get another one right here. And then we'll put that dough back together, and I hope to get 3 out of it pretty easily. Folks, we're going to start out with probably a little more than 2 tablespoons. It may not all fit in there. We're going to see what we can get in there, because to me, there's nothing worse in the world than having a fried pie, and when you bite into it, you got to have a whole nother bite before you can even find the fruit. But I think it helps to seal the sides there, so I'm just going to...
What's that, just a little...
Little egg wash, little cracked egg, just whipped just a little. And I like to just go around the seams there. Then we're going to... I can done tell we have too much right here.
I thought so.
But I like it that way I do. Now,
Make it look pretty.
when you get it here, I'm gonna do it like my grandma and them did all the time. We're gonna use a floured fork. So give it a mash, come across there, because we wanna make sure that everything is sealed up. And if you have some extra, it'll get out of the way. Don't be worrying about that too much.
Guess which ones I did.
Yeah, they're probably gonna think, I think the cowboy might have done them with the fork. You should have got Schnauzer up here and just let him put his
Yours
paws
are
on it.
kinda...
That's the way I always made them on a ranch, right
I know,
there.
but they're not like, it's
What?
pretty.
Oh, they are right. Well, that oil is heating up to about 365. Oh, you said what? Gonna fry above 350? Remember, everything's cold. I don't want that temperature to drop too much. I want it to be in there when they hit that fire, go shh, turn her loose. But while we was doing all that, I made me some caramel sauce. I did. Pretty easy, pretty simple it is. One of them 8 ounces of cream cheese, stick of butter, some brown sugar, a little bit of maple syrup right there at the last, stir all that up. We're gonna drizzle it over them fried pies, but we need to get them fried pies to going. Lay one down in there and see what happens. Oh, it is trying to fry. It is, that's what I like. I think you can get 2 at a time in there. We want to just fry these till they're golden brown. You may have to roll them over if you're not completely submerged, or if one body wants to float to the top and try to jump out. We need to let that crust set in that grease a little while to firm up before you go to try to rolling them over. As you can tell, there's been no meat in this video today, and people are sort of boycotting the video. People are mad about it. I mean, but hey, I'm all about me an apple fried pie. I am, with that caramel sauce on there. I just want to break this in half and just see what's coming out of there. And ooh, look at that pie crust in the layers is what I'm talking about. That is what we call goodness right there. And so we're gonna have us a bite.
Oh, you can hear the layers.
I ain't even gonna talk to you about it. I'm just gonna have another bite. Let me get that sticky. Folks, right there, the star of the show, 2 things, pie crust and pie crust. My grandma and my mother would be so proud of that pie crust. That is what you call win you a pie crust contest right there. And so easy to do it is. Great flavors that both apples bring about, but when you can sort of thicken that all back up to where it stays in that fried pie, you are money ahead. Big shout out to the folks at ARIAT. Be sure you check out that link down there below. But it is with pride, honor, and great privilege that I tip my hat to all the servicemen and women and all the veterans that have kept that old flag flying over camp. We commend you all. Rest of you, get on up in here quick because I am in a hurry to eat me some fried apple pies. God bless you each and every one. I'm gonna give you a hug and I'll see you down the fried pie trail. Gotta have some of that. And really, that's about all there is to it. Hang on, I gotta make sure. It's just like with the pups. When we call him Schnauzer Bob Rollins, he knows he's in trouble. Don't scrimp on bad apple cider vinegar. That didn't make sense.
No, it didn't.
Do not scrimp on the cheap stuff there. I'm sorry. Old-fashioned pie crust got a little lard in there, it does, so ooh, I cannot talk.